All right. Thank you for joining us. If you're with us now, I believe you're on our first CalChiro Live. Hopefully, this is streaming to you on YouTube as we speak. We'll be having a couple of guests join us here shortly, but hopefully, people are logging in as we speak on the YouTube channel. You can also catch us on Facebook later on. You probably can stream it on Facebook right now too, but I would also just recommend that you get here on the live because this is how you're going to win money. This is the opportunity for everybody to win $300 if you're on the live stream and you comment if your name is selected. So want to make sure people are getting ready for that as we speak. Looking forward to today's guests. Wanted to remind you guys real quickly, we have our fall conference coming up October, middle of October. Make sure you're paying attention for that. I know that it's just over 2 months away. The early bird special will be coming up around September 1st. So make sure you're getting logged in and to your E21, getting your tickets for the Palm Springs Marriott, JW Marriott. Awesome golf course. Looking forward to having that opportunity to golf out there. If anybody wants to golf, make sure you hit me up. I'll be more than willing to meet you out there to golf. So let's make sure we do that. That's good. This is going to be an exciting conference. We have Heidi Havik as our keynote speaker, Dr. William Morgan, as well as one of our keynote speakers. So that's going to be super fun. It's just going to be a great venue, a great conference in general. So hopefully you can come and join us there. And even one of our speakers will be there. We'll talk a little bit more about that as well. In addition, we have our PI conference coming up in September as well, up in San Francisco. So keep your eyes peeled for that as well. But I wanted to bring on our first guest here, and one of my colleagues, Dr. Meg Spicer, is going to be with us as well today. Hi, Meg. Hi, Nick.
Hi, Nick. Thank you for making it today.
Oh, no worries. Same with you. Mm-hmm.
So I don't feel like Nick needs a ton of introduction. This guy's a legend in chiropractic. He's done a tremendous amount for our profession and for me as an individual, quite frankly, and that's something that I'm always grateful to Nick for. But this is Dr. Nick Athens. He's up in the Bay Area, Redwood City, kind of still Redwood City, right, Nick?
San Carlos, close by.
San Carlos, okay, close. I wanted to bring him on here as our first guest. He's our leadoff hitter, everyone, so be gentle with us. He's like our Ricky Henderson of the CalChiro Live. But Nick recently wrote a new book, and I want to dive into that a little bit here in just a short minute. But I also want to – the book's really about longevity. Well, go ahead and introduce yourself real quick, Nick, too, just in case anybody doesn't know you or isn't familiar with who you are and how long you've been in practice and that kind of thing.
Been in practice 42 years. Started from scratch. 65 years old now, Medicare, and I'm probably my son's going to chiropractic school now, so I'm gonna transition over to him in a couple of years. But the book is about after 42 years of practice, what it's like and what do you learn from all the patients. And so I feel like I'm this vortex of this channel that came through me of over 750,000 patient visits, 27,000 new patients, starting from, nothing, from being in the 80s, a quack and pseudoscience, and, one of the guys starting out. And so the book kind of starts out that story. But I guess what upset me was during COVID was instead of talking about something, I wanted to do something and make a change and get information that got through me to share and give a jigsaw puzzle to the world, to give them clarity about how their body worked more efficiently. I wanted to sprinkle chiropractic in the book. So I wanted to make it a healthcare book that was attractive, but yet get people into chiropractic care through pretty much a side door where, I'm telling them about health, hydration, stretching, weight training, high intensity interval training, sleep, accountability, mindfulness, how to manage yourself, stay in a calmer state, what it's like working with, the athletes and seeing them perform, and what can we do to teach people body hacks to improve their performance. So the book, I call it To Health With You because it was a way for me to share a pathway. I feel like I'm holding a patient's hand taking them into the hydration room, taking them into the stretching room, taking them into the weight training room and the sleep room. And hey, why would you want to use chiropractic along this journey too? So it's not like I wanted to make chiropractic the mainstay. So I wanted to realize that if I made it a chiropractic book, I don't think that people might be turned off by it if they just thought it was a chiropractic book. But if I made it a healthcare book as a chiropractor, and I wanted to compete in the aging and longevity space, and if I look at what's out there in the aging and longevity space, the largest drugless health profession doesn't have a book to teach people how to age efficiently with less breakdowns. So we have Peter Attia wrote a book called Outlive. We have Mark Hyman out there. We have Casey Means. We have Andrew Huberman podcasts. We have these podcasts. They're all MDs with no chiropractors. So I said to myself, you know what? We need a chiropractor in this space to compete, to kind of share our end. So we have the largest drugless health profession not getting represented. I wanted to be that person who pushed that voice forward, and hopefully it brings other chiropractors forward too to share aging and longevity space. So being 65 now, and what it's like being in practice for all these years and doing all the things that I do in the book to share with people, and somehow if I could reach people who I've never met before to make changes, and improve their quality of life, improve their healthcare journey, that's my goal.
Cool. Let's take a quick step back. I just want to talk a little bit. Tell us a little bit about your history in terms of how you got to be working with athletes, because I'm sure there's people that are going to either watch this later or are with us now that are interested in working with athletes. And I know that's something that, has kind of been a signature for you. I know when I was a kid, I always heard about Nick Athens. He's taking care of Joe Montana. So share a little bit about that background and that story for us.
That's an interesting story. Joe actually has a quote on the top of the book, and I'll leave it at that. But he said, use this book as a blueprint formula for changing your health trajectory, which is great. So he gave a great quote for the profession. And kind of starting out, Roger Craig was one of my 10th patients starting out in 1983. I started out in 8x10 office, didn't have any patients. Coming out of school, you're meeting all this resistance. 8 out of 10 people saying I'd never see a chiropractor, and you have to kind of go through that resistance. And Roger was my first patient. The training camp was nearby. He started seeing me. He started getting 6 other athletes to see me. And after about a year or two, I wrote a letter to the team doctors, which I talk about in the book. And I expected to say, hey, I got 6 players under care. I'd like to work with a team. The team, I could help them with injuries and manage injuries. I never thought of working as a pro sports team coming out. I just was going to be a chiropractor. But with him coming to see me, I said, hey, wow, maybe I could expose the profession in a greater light through athletic performance. And so he started coming in, and I wrote a letter, and the doctor said, we would never send anyone to a chiropractor. We don't refer to chiropractors. And if any of them see you, it's not by our referral. We would never send anyone to a chiropractor.
Wow.
And so it was
a lot of that 81
people coming in. Say again, Phil?
Was that about 81?
That was probably 84, 85 okay. Right then, So 85. So I go, wow, this isn't going well. And a lot of doctors would have stopped then, but I said, okay, well, how do I get more and more people under care, more athletes under care to expose the doctors? Maybe there's not enough athletes under care to expose the profession. I need more athletes. Sure. So I worked out with Roger. I started going to the hotel, the Marriott Hotel. He goes, would you work on me before home games? I said, sure. So I went there before home games. And before I know it, more athletes started coming in the room. And he said, because it was easy, they were all at the hotel. So I started working on the athletes, and in the 80s, they started winning Super Bowls by getting, not only care, but they were performing because they were taking the team doctors and the medical staff. All they did was ice, stim, and medications and cortisone shots. That was the whole, method of care, right?
Right.
So here I am then. Some of the few patients gave me some news channels and some things for getting under care, like Russ Francis, who passed away recently. But he gave me a nice news channel and on chiropractic, how it helped him out as a tight end. So I was getting some PR through that. And then I went to the 49ers, kept winning. They kept going to more Super Bowls. And I did something in 88 and 88. Jerry Rice did an ankle adjustment with KTVU News. And by this time, I had like 25 players under care. The next year, I had 35 players under care, 49 teams still didn't acknowledge chiropractic. So it really upset me, because here I am, hey, what do I got to do to prove myself? I got over half the team coming in. They're using chiropractic care as taking care of their bodies. They're winning championships, but the doctors didn't have anything to do with it. So I said, okay, so I went down to the 1990 Super Bowl in New Orleans, and they were going to play the Denver Broncos. And I went to the hotel where all the press was, and I asked the press people, would you like to do a story on how chiropractic care was getting,
I love it.
the players were using chiropractic care. And I went to the Miami Herald, and I said it in the book, and the guy says, no, we already have our stories for the week. So I went to 30 different news outlets, and they all said no. So I left the press conference with a tail between my legs. And my buddy Dr. Jody Sarris from New Jersey, went to the Super Bowl with me to take care of athletes. I couldn't take care of all of myself. There were so many. And so he said, why don't we go to the Super Bowl Media Day? So that's where all the press come to the players, and they interview them at the Hilton Hotel. And they came there in New Orleans that day. And so we're trying to get some PR and see if what we could get. And since we got rejected the other day, and a half hour was in the press conference left, and the bell went off, and it said, only a half hour left to ask questions. We were trying to get the players' attention. They all had their heads down. They were not engaged in the whole media day like they should, because they were bored being asked questions, because there was 2 weeks in the Super Bowl between the last playoff game and the Super Bowl. So no one was watching me. So I put in the book, I grabbed a pad and pencil, and I pretended I was a press guy. And I walked up to Tom Rathman. He was a fullback. And I said, they were all asking me questions, and I reached out with a pad and pencil in my hand and said, Tom, your body's got to be really sore after a 17-game season. Can you share with us what you do to take care of your body? And he looked up at me, and I was waiting for him to blow my cover. I didn't know. I was just ready to take a chance. I was just, let's see what happens, right? I had nothing to lose. So he looks up at me, and he kind of shakes his head like he couldn't believe I was doing it. But then he said, I see this chiropractor, Dr. Nick Athens, and chiropractic is a big part of my game plan. It's my secret weapon. It's something I do to take care of my body. And I go, oh, cool. And the reporter next to me says, hey, did you get the name of the doctor he just mentioned? I said, yes, Dr. Nick Athens. So, which I said in the book. So I said, if that worked for his table, let me go to Jerry Rice's table. Same thing with Jerry Rice. I go, Jerry, your body's got to be really sore after a 17-game season. Can you tell us what you do to take care of it? I see this chiropractor, Dr. Nick Athens. So it went around. There's only so much time left. I turned around and went to Roger Craig's table. It's my secret weapon. So these guys started blurting about it. And all the press people who said, we're not going to do an article, now said, oh, wow, this is great news. Because the players came from the players. I turned around and saw a guy named Irv Cross, CBS Sports. I go, Irv, I'm a chiropractor down here adjusting the players. Would CBS Sports be interested in doing a segment on chiropractic care and getting players getting adjusted on the Super Bowl special? He goes, yeah, I heard Roger Craig sees one, but with Joe Montana? I said, yeah, he's a patient. He goes, let me ask him. I'll see you in your hotel room in an hour. So next thing I knew, Joe Montana comes in with a film crew. We do a thing on chiropractic care and get on the pre-Super Bowl game special, a minute and a half, which is about $2.5–3 million worth of publicity. The USA does an article after the game. 49ers put the game in chiropractors' hands, and boom, it just opens up the sports world from one play. And we know in sports, one play determines championships and legacies in history. So it happened to be the one play. And what's amazing, I tell chiropractors, you don't know when that one play is going to be there, but just be ready to make the one play, because that one play matters, right? So in essence, from that started the whole practice. And after the Super Bowl, I started getting 50 to 60 new patients a month. They started kind of coming into practice like crazy, because if it's good enough for Joe Montana, I don't care about science if it works or not. Joe's getting adjusted. I don't care about the science. Let me go see the guy. So they started coming in. I had to hire other doctors and kind of build this whole thing. The 49ers sports team, they had to hire a chiropractor because there was so much pressure on them. Like, how are you using chiropractor? And we didn't know about this. Yeah. And it just changed. It kind of flipped the sports world in a good way just by not giving up, So I think it shows the persistence in the book. But then the book's about, what did I learn from all these patients coming in? What made them, what I was a last resort doctor, what went through the system that made them come see me? Because if the doctors are doing their job, I should be out of business. They said I should be out of business. And I said, I didn't necessarily disagree. If you were doing your job, I should be out of business. So you're not doing your job. So I'm going to take advantage of that and teach people better lifestyle choices, teach them how chiropractic care could be part of their healthcare journey to keep them on a better health trajectory and give them a better quality of life. So the whole book is what I learned from all those patients to share, and I want to be in that health and longevity space. And I still want to. I have a lot to offer other DCs also, and hopefully they could share with their patients to give the patients a way to have an aging longevity book work with chiropractors.
I think it's so cool, man. As I'm sitting here listening to you, Like if you're a young practitioner, if you're a new practitioner just starting out, maybe a student that's with us today, like hopefully you listened to him and heard how he took a bold step. He put himself out there. And that's one of the things, when I talk to my students at Life West and just as I'm interacting with people, in CalChiro and things of that nature, you have to get yourself out there, man. You have to do something like that. You have to get creative. You got to be willing to talk to anybody, anywhere, anytime, any place. And that's exactly what you did. And, that's certainly why I admire you, for many reasons and that kind of thing. But I want to dive a little bit more. Take us through, like, what are the titles of the chapters of the book, basically? Can you share with us?
The first one is on a lot of patients who come in, Dr. Phil, they're in pain, right? And so the question is they're always in pain, in a bad mood. Well,
Sure.
What causes the bad mood? Well, I talk about, people, how they develop their bad habits. I talk about the conscious, subconscious brain. The subconscious brain develops our habits, and we get our information from our five senses, and that teaches our subconscious brain our habits, and that's our autopilot system, and that kind of runs our health. So if we have and the main part of the book, but really nobody talks about, is the conscious brain doesn't know fantasy, perception, and imagination.
Sure.
So fantasy and perception seems real to the brain. And so how accurate is that? Well, it's not as accurate as you think. That's why athletes have coaches, because coaches call timeouts all the time. They manage the athlete's perception. And I talk about in the accountability chapter, but my point being is we need realistic voices in our life. And my goal is to make the chiropractors the realistic voices in patients' lives. Patients come in all the time saying, "Doc, my neck and arm I tried this, I tried that, I tried this." I say, well, let me give you a second opinion, like a realistic second opinion, because your perception isn't as accurate as you think. So now I'm the coach. Time out. Let's get you on the table. Let's talk and move forward again. So people have to kind of reset, recalibrate, refocus to go forward again. And I talk about that. I show stress and anxiety. And I thought of a hurricane. Most people live in the outer bounds of the hurricane, the outer bounds of the storm. They don't know how to get to the eye of the storm where it's calm. And what's the reason you want to get to the eye of the storm or the eye of the hurricane? You make better decisions. Outside the hurricane, it's all reactive decisions. Inside the hurricane, it's better decisions. So how do you go through life living in the eye of the storm, battling all the stress and anxiety, but not getting sucked into it as a regular part of your life? Well, you need someone to help you with that. There's the chiropractic profession, who's great with not having drugs, injections, and surgeries. People need to go to a place where they get this, a doctor who's coaching them, moving them forward, changing their health trajectory. I call it proactive aging, not reactive aging in the book.
Sure.
Proactive aging, meaning they're doing things for themselves. And how's the chiropractor the leader in helping guide them? I really have learned in 42 years, you don't tell people, you guide them where you want them to go. What would happen if you don't drink enough water? Well, your body's like a sponge. If the sponge doesn't have water, what would happen to the body? What would happen to the sponge? Well, it will dry out. Well, there you go. It can't move. It's not as flexible. So does it make sense to manage and have hydration as part of your, as part of your life? Maybe you could check your urine color. It should be pale yellow to clear. Maybe you could put some Celtic sea salt or pink Himalayan salt on your tongue to help you with your hydration. Because what happens is there's dehydration injuries. People don't drink enough water and they lock up and they have injuries. So a lot of people don't realize that. I talk about stretching. As people age, they lean forward, all our forward activities. So let's get some backward stretches in. I see all these people who are hunched forward, and over time, the body throws calcium to the area. So one thing after 42 years of practice, Dr. Phil, you see time. And you see what time does to the body, and people need guidance. And when they're 80 years old, they can't say, you know what, I made some bad decisions. I want to go back 40 years now. No, you should have done it 40 years ago. So chiropractors need to take the charge now in the aging and longevity segment to have these patients be adjusted regularly as a regular part of their life, to move them forward in the right direction, to have a better quality of life with less medications, less breakdowns, because I find people just become health statistics. And their health statistics, and what does it really matter? Mary was a great person. She took all this medication, but she passed on. Well, maybe if Mary is doing more proactive aging, she could have lived a lot longer. She could have had more time to have a better quality of life with less breakdowns, more activity, and more fun. So that's one of the chapters, is the mind-body connection. How do we live a calmer life to make better decisions? Then I go into sleep and how people have bad sleep posture. A lot of people sleep on their stomachs. They sleep on their side stomachs. A lot of people, I talked about TMJ, they grind their teeth at night. They clench their teeth. They live under a stressful situation. They don't know how to get better sleep because sleep's a big part of our immune system. And if we could get them to sleep better, so I recommend they could use essential oils or scents in the room. They could use music or raindrops or waterfalls in the background. I tell people to stretch before bed. It's a good time to stretch. Why? Because our day compresses us. Life compresses us. Decompress your body. Get a foam roller, lie backward on the foam roller. Have a yoga mat and a foam roller next to your bed. And then you could climb into bed and get some sleep, right? Sleep in your side or your back. Use a body pillow so you're not rolling on your stomach. So I don't know if I'm saying too much, but I'm trying to give information that's in the book that help people. So doctor to me means teacher. And if I'm a great teacher to patients, teach them lifestyle moves, lifestyle habits, positive lifestyle habits for their health, they're going to stick with you for life. And my job is to marry all my patients for life, lifetime care, proactive aging, proactive care to prevent breakdowns, to have less medications, less injections, less surgeries, better quality of life.
So it sounds like the material that you have in that book is a great material that chiropractors can use and regurgitate it into different classes that they can be able to hold in their offices as well. And you're educating people who get to have access directly to that book too, which is awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. So that's my goal, is to kind of get that it's not like I'm looking to make major money off the book. I spent money like, 40, 50,000 writing the book out of my own money. So in essence, I'm betting on myself again. So what am I looking for in the whole thing? Well, I'm looking for changing people's lives I've never met before. I got a great text out of a lady in Wisconsin. The son said, I gave your mom your book, and it changed her life. And thanks for putting things out there that people we care about. So in essence, what you realize when you improve people's health, it's a domino effect. You're affecting the whole family. You help mom, now you help the husband, now you help the kids. Now there's less, less care coming into the house. There's more a positive effect. And so, and chiropractic is the profession for that. And doctors need, like you said, make the play. I tell the doctors, make the play. Make the play. Go out there and don't get in your own way. Doctors get in their own way. And so if you just get out of your own way, you're going to get rejected. I got rejected 8 out of 10 times when I was out of school. And I knew if I got rejected 8 times, the 2 yeses were coming. So now I got the 2 yeses after the 8 no's. I got 2 yeses after 8 more no's. I got 2 yeses. Now I got 6 patients I didn't have before after 24 no's. So you look at odds. If you want to roll the 7, roll the dice. You can't just sit on the sideline and expect life to take care of you. And I tell people in the book, don't wish for health, plan for it. And if you plan for health, don't wait for health to find you, go find it. So my goal is to help people find health, the doctors are a great coach for them to lead them in the right direction. And if doctors play that role, you're going to have big practice. I mean, we've been having a great practice for years. It's amazing seeing 70 people a day writing a book. It's crazy to do that at the end of the day, still seeing patients. But, I was able to do it because I was dedicated. It took 3.5 years. And now my goal is to have a chiropractic book out there in the profession that doctors could recommend for their patients, working congruent with the chiropractor to say, hey, listen, you come see me every week. This is a great book for you to read. It's great on how to take care of your health. And I want you to see me on this 2 weeks. And you're going to find out in the book, when patients read that book, they're going to realize why they need to continue chiropractic care once they get the book, and why it should be part of their health care. The chiropractor is part of their healthcare team to keep them going in the right direction forward.
Well, hopefully you guys can hear me. For some reason, my camera got disabled, and I'm trying to. So can you see my camera right now, you guys?
I don't see you, Doc.
We can hear you. We just can't see you.
Okay, good. Well, I'll just keep going with that, Meg. They can just keep looking at you for the time being, and we'll keep going with that. But
and he is gone. So again, friendly reminder: we have the annual conference coming up in October. No, I cut off. You back, Phil?
Yeah, I was going to let Tiffany back in, or let Tiffany in, because I want to make sure we spin the wheel of names and that kind of thing. But go ahead and finish what you're telling them about the.
Just a friendly reminder: we have the annual conference coming up in October. It's going to be a great presentation. We've got, like, as Phil was saying, who the keynote speakers are. We also have Francis Murphy, who came up with the OTZ, upper cervical adjustment, which is great for frozen shoulder. And he's got some new additional techniques that he's got to share with us. I mean, there's a huge lineup. The staff has done a great job putting together this event. And it's going to be phenomenal. I'm not quite sure what the PI for All event date is going to be yet for that, but that one's also coming up as well.
No, that's it looks like everything's back up and running for me now. Like I said, this is our first time doing this, so thank you everyone for bearing with us. I wanted to thank Nick again too. It's been tremendous, to interact with you throughout my career. I know I've had many conversations with you about practicing with my dad, and that's been super valuable to me. So I'm so grateful for that. And, some of the wisdom that you share, because I think a point that really resonates with me is you got to be in the room to interact with somebody like you. There's no replacement for that. I mean, I know we can do these live streams and things of that nature, but coming to fall conference and going to events and things of that nature allows someone like me who is, I'm almost 20 years in practice now, but in the early parts of my career, it allowed me an opportunity to interact with somebody like you and share from that wisdom. And so I really encourage people to, come to our events and take the risk, like Nick said, about going out there and marketing yourself and promoting yourself and doing all the things, because without that, I just don't think it's, possible to have the kind of practice and the life and the vision that you have really for chiropractic. That's what this is really all about, right? Is we're trying to find people to serve and serve them to the best of our ability. And I know you've been doing that since the minute you've hit the ground, and it has inspired me, I think, in the conversations we've had. So take the opportunity to come to our fall conferences and to our events so that you can be in the room with somebody like Nick and benefit from all of the wisdom that he has. So Nick, tell us a little bit about how to get your book.
Well, it's on Amazon, Dr. Phil. So like I said, it's easy, called To Health With You. And it's, how to change your health trajectory and what patients can do to improve their health from the inside out, and how you could, I say in the book, try chiropractic care. Chiropractic care will calm the nervous system. It gets the nervous system rebooted, much like getting a rubber band off your finger. It's opening up flow, and flow is part of the calming mechanism of the body. So if you want better flow in your body, then chiropractic care, body work should be part of aging to me. So in essence, if you can, my goal is to raise the profession another level from everything I've learned from all these thousands of patients. That is so, I just feel so right about it. I was able to put into a flow where patients can absorb the information. And I want this book to win the implementation award, Doc. And what does that mean? I want it to be a book, not a 500-page book where people mind goes off somewhere else because they're reading it because they should. I want them to take the information from the book and they can start implementing, what they can do to calm themselves, what they can do, why they should do stretching backward, why they should weight train or do resistance training, why they should train their heart, why they should get better sleep, tips to get better sleep, why to have other realistic voices around you to guide you, because the conscious brain doesn't know fantasy from perception, imagination. I even say in the book, can you imagine the chaos in pro sports without coaches? It'd be chaotic, because coaches manage the perception. Coaches manage the fantasy. Athletes aren't going to call a timeout. The coaches are. They're the realistic voice. The chiropractor needs to be the realistic voice in patients' lives to guide them to go in the right direction, to change their health trajectory. And if you can be that voice for them, and you could be their doctor and coach at the same time, you're providing so many lifestyle habits and choices to change their trajectory. Well, how's the other system working? And another thing, I had to meet a lot of resistance to get all these patients in. 27,000 new patients. I had to earn that. Those people aren't sent to me unless I'm doing a great job. It's not like I'm working as a doctor, a medical doctor, as an employee, getting patients as that employee, and patients are given to me. It's different if you have to earn patients compared to patients are giving to me and I'm walking in like at Kaiser and all the patients are there for me. I have to earn them. I have to build a reputation. You get Yelp reviews, and it's like that in all doctors' offices. So if I can build a practice with all the resistance, chiropractic is way more accepted now than it was in the 80s when I started out. So if you can learn to, my goal is to make chiropractors better from the book and their patients, and to raise the level of health. And I'm 65, I have more energy than docs in their 30s. I still have passion for what I do. I still train, I still do sprints, I still deadlift 225, I still do stretching, I do yoga classes. I do all the things in the book you need to do to change your trajectory. Why? I want to travel. I want to do things. I want to be active. I want to golf. I want to do all the fun things that life comes your way. And if you don't have your health, you can't do those fun things. So my goal is, like I said, raise chiropractors' level of performance, to have them all have busy practices, not get in your own way, teach patients lifestyle choices, better habits, to take their health to another level that they haven't experienced before. I want to give them a healthcare experience, not just a doctor visit.
So, really
what I love about this, if I can just say really quick, is that this is what CalChiro members are people who have plowed the way for the next generation to come in. And this is why we need to get more involvement. So if you've got friends who are chiropractors, keep in mind, you can bring them to meet other amazing doctors like Dr. Athens, and that this are the people who plowed the way for us. And we and our involvement within CalChiro plays a big role with how we can all support each other, continuing that ball that Dr. Athens and other great chiropractors have started for us.
Hey, Dr. Meg, if I retired, I'm going to say one more thing. My goal would be to make other chiropractors better. My goal is to teach them, empower them, give them information. I could save them time. I could save time, and that's what we're all after. If we save time, you can't get time back on the back end, you get on the front end. So if I could save patients time, I could show doctors what they can do going forward to make their practices more efficient early in their careers, to get on a better pathway, better trajectory to become successful. There's enough patients for all of us, and we're all a family too, right? The chiropractic family is all pretty much all together to empower patients' health. So,
and like Mick said, that's what we're here. That's what we're dedicated to doing at CalChiro at this point, is supporting our chiropractic community. And I know you're all about that too, Nick, and being able to connect with people like you is exactly what we want to do to support our new practitioners and all of our members. So Nick has so generously offered to raffle off 5 of his books for us today. So we're going to do a preliminary raffle here. I'm going to go ahead and bring up this is called the Wheel of Names, and everybody's going to be able to see the Wheel of Names, who gets picked. You're going to have 30 seconds. We'll call it the Llanta de los Nombres in Spanish if everybody wants to. Whoever gets picked is going to get a copy of Nick's book, and we'll get it sent out to them. So our first winner is going to be Cassandra Marsden. Excellent. Okay.
Congratulations,
Cassandra Marsden. Okay, let's spin one.
Oh, yeah, good.
Spin one more time, Tiffany. All right, our next winner is Julieta Gregorian. All right. We've got 2 down, 3 to go. 2 down, 3 to go. Make sure you're staying tuned for the money wheel. We've got some people on with us today, so that's good. You got to be present to win. All right, here we go. And J. Richard Kehoe, hopefully we're keeping track of that, Tiffany, so we can get them their books. 2 more, 2 more. All right. Yeah, this is the time, you guys. Let your friends know if they want to win the money. They haven't been with us. All right, Mark Stolberg. 1 more. Tell them to log on quick if they want to win the money, because they got to be present to win. All right, and here's the 5th and final book. All right, Tim Duck, excellent. All right, Tiffany, don't spin the wheel just yet. I want to explain the rules of our live CalChiro event here. So the prize pool for today is $300, and I can't understand why there wouldn't be more people on this, but I know some people just think $300, oh, no big deal. That really doesn't get me out of bed. I personally, $300 will get me out of bed, but maybe some people don't like money as much as I do. I don't know. If you don't like to win money, we can have a different conversation. But what we're going to do here today is we're going to spin the wheel. You have to be present to win. You'll have 30 seconds to comment in the chat. You have to say, I'm here in the chat. If your name gets selected, you have to comment in the chat that you're here to win the $300. If nobody wins the $300, next week's prize pool is going to go up to another $100. So we'll be at 400 next week. We'll probably get more viewers at 400 than 300, but this is something that I'm, really trying to encourage our members to join us with, and I want to incentivize them. I'm grateful for everybody who's helped us put this together. So, Tiffany, let's hopefully the rules are clear on how you win the $300. You have to be selected, and you have to be on the chat, and you have to comment in the chat within 30 seconds of your name being selected. So let's go ahead and spin the wheel for the first time. All right, I like to hear everybody's saying big money. I like to win. Daniele, I appreciate that. Let's get going. Let's do this. All right, so we've got 30 seconds starting now. Kathleen Souza, if you're on the chat, connect with us and say I'm here. But if you don't do it in 30 seconds, we're down to 25 seconds. We're going to spin the wheel again. So we need some background music, like some Jeopardy or something like that.
Kathleen Souza, are you there? Kathleen Souza. Answer. Be on the call.
We got 10 seconds to go. 10 seconds to go. All right, almost 5 seconds. I'm not seeing any Kathleens. Correct me if I'm wrong. All right, we got 2 seconds. 2 seconds. All right, Kathleen, I'm so sorry. You are a winner today, but you are not here to collect your prize. So, unfortunately, maybe you can join us in the future. Somebody let her know that the universe wanted to send her $300. So, All right, let's select our second name. Go ahead and spin the wheel one more time, Tiffany. Here we go. Tiffany's like the lovely Vanna White here almost in this show. I'm feeling the Wheel of Fortune vibe with the Wheel of Names. All right, next name coming up. Here it is. They got to be on the chat. Paris Henry, you've got 30 seconds starting now. Should we play music in the background?
Paris Henry? Get a hold of Paris.
I don't know, but somebody should be texting him. Yeah, somebody should be texting him right now, being like, dude, you missed out on $300. You better get on here. You got 20 seconds left. Oh, boy. The
free
music,
money.
I can already hear the music playing. What's that, Meg?
Said free money. And remember, this is for members. So if you have a friend who's dialing in and they're not a member, when they become a member, they get their name on the list. And then that puts them eligible for this.
5 seconds to go, Meg. 5 seconds to go.
Paris Henry.
I don't think Paris is going to be here. All right, that's the time. Well, Paris, you won $300 today. You just weren't here to collect it. I'm sorry to hear that, but join us next week and maybe you can win $400. All right, we've got one more roll. Remember, if you don't, if the money isn't collected this week, then there'll be $400 going next week. Reminder, we've got the fall conference coming up middle of October, just about 2 months away. Really hope you can join us. That's going to be an awesome event, great venue, great speakers. So looking forward to seeing you there and getting you in the room. Nothing like being in the room. All right, Armin Atakanyan, you are our next winner. You've got 30 seconds. Let's make it happen, Armin. Hopefully Armin's with us. I know, Cliff, there's a lot of moolah going on here today. It's pretty cool. I can feel the energy. I feel like the universe is, if I will say this, if I win, I'm going to donate the money back so that it'll go up even next week to $400. So, all right, you've got 5 seconds, Armin. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, I'm sorry we don't have a winner this week, but I'm really grateful for everybody that joined us on our first live. Super grateful to Nick. Tremendous individual. You are a tremendous individual, Nick. I'm so happy for you for writing the book. Check it out on Amazon, or is it in stores as well, Nick?
Well, it's on tohealthwithyou.net is the website. You can order it from that, tohealthwithyou.net. And just go on there. I give healthy tips for patients if they want to kind of understand what's in the book and such, just to guide them some information. And so I'm figuring out too, it's my first book. And so it's about 140 pages long. I feel like it's great information for patients to change their health trajectory, and enough information to have them absorb the information and implement for their health. They'll make the chiropractic, care that they're receiving from their DC even easier, because they're now going to start a self-care program in addition to having chiropractic care as part of the program. So
super cool, Nick. I really appreciate it. We got some questions in the chat. Zachary, everyone's name who's a member is on the wheel. So if you're a member, you're on the wheel. You can win the money. If you're not a member, get your name in to Tiffany. She'll get you on as a member. We'll get you on the wheel. Heck, that'll pay for a whole year's membership almost for like a new practitioner. So this is a super cool thing that we were able to do. Thanks for being our Ricky Henderson today, Nick.
Join us. Would you like to answer any questions, or is it all good?
No. If they have any questions, I'll have them reach out to you or reach out to me.
All right.
Nick's super accessible. I'm sure he'd be willing to talk with you. He's always talked to me throughout my career and been so helpful. So make sure you join us next week, same time, 1 o'clock on Thursday. The chance to win $400. If you're not here, you must not like money. So we'll see you guys next week. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, Doc.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Phil.
You're welcome.
Tiffany. Bye, everybody. Good to see you all.
Bye.